Welcome to the Good Vibes Club, a normal girl's guide to living your best life and being the best version of yourself. Whether you're listening on your commute, out on a hot girl walk, or curled up on your sofa, open your mind and get ready to feel those good vibes. Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Good Vibes Club. How are we all doing? I hope we're all doing well. I hope you're having a good day, a good week, and just a beautiful beginning to spring, if we can call it that, because it's getting into the warmer months now, and I'm definitely trying to leave winter well behind. The sun is shining as I'm filming this, and my living room is 27 degrees because it's literally a greenhouse. It's such a blessing and a curse, because right now I don't have to have the heating on because it's so hot in there, but in summer it's absolutely boiling. But then it can also be freezing cold. It's just one of those things that I have to get over and deal with, but I do love my windows so much, so I'm not going to complain because they are amazing. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I thought it would be nice to discuss all things personal style, because, you know, part of living the Good Vibes life is having a good wardrobe and making yourself feel good every single day. And as Marie Kondo says, if it doesn't bring you joy, then it shouldn't be in your life. And that's kind of a good vibe, right? Like, that's certainly fitting into living our best lives. So we're going to go with it. It's going to be part of the podcast and an episode that I'm actually really excited to record for you, because I feel like I've done really well with streamlining my wardrobe and stuff. So I just thought it'd be interesting. But I'm going to be giving you a look into how I found my personal style, streamlining your wardrobe, how to build a capsule that works with you and with what you love, rather than just fitting a generic mold. And I thought it would be a nice episode because I am currently decluttering my home, although very slowly, because it's definitely a long process and I don't have the luxury of having everything doable in a day because I procrastinate like no one else. So I've been doing like one day every couple of weeks where I just tackle a certain room, and I only have like technically 3 rooms in my house, but then I have 2 cupboards, so kind of 5 rooms, kind of 6, 7 if you count the bathrooms, but basically a different part every time. So I've tackled the living room and kitchen because that's one room. I've tackled the bathrooms, I've tackled the dressing room. So I've got the bedroom and the storage cupboards left, and I'm a bit of a Monica, so my Monica cupboard is like, you literally open the door and things fall on you. It's James sighs and rolls his eyes every time he opens it because it's genuinely the worst cupboard in the world, but we're trying to get through it. It's full of a lot of stuff at the moment and I'm trying to clear it out, but I just want to live a slightly more minimal life and we'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm just trying to pray that I get a little bit more space open up and just a little bit more of a free, like, tidy house, tidy mind vibe. So my mum's actually coming to do a car boot with me in a couple of weeks. I'll update you when that happens, but it definitely needs to happen. I might vlog it because car boots make me very anxious. I don't like the idea of people coming over and like I've done one before and I feel like everyone swarmed the table and me and my friend were like 18 and we were like panicking with all this change and we didn't know what was going on and people were asking for like bargains for 50p and we got so overwhelmed that I think I need my mum to come and help me do it. But I'm very good at stashing things in cupboards, so I can safely say that this car boot is going to be an experience. So if you want that as a vlog, let me know, because I'm actually now convincing myself I need to do it as a vlog because there's a lot that needs to go. But anyway, so let's kick off the episode with our good vibe of the week, shall we? So mine is definitely having a relaxing night away with James and spending some quality time together. So we actually went down to a little cottage in Devon the other day. What am I talking about? We got back yesterday. I really don't know what I'm talking about today, but we did a lot of beach walking and we did puzzles and we had a coffee day and it was just really nice. Like, we went for a really nice roast dinner. We had an 8 a.m. beach walk, which was very, very cold. I did wrap up in a lot of layers. James, as a typical boy, was wearing like the thinnest coat ever, but it was really nice and it was just nice to spend some quality time together. But there was a ghost in the cottage. It definitely kept me up most of the night. James slept through the whole thing, but I made him sleep with the light on and with the TV on, and I heard a ghost on the stairs and it was terrifying. I genuinely, at like 3 a.m, was like panicking and I just wanted to get in the car and leave. Like, I'm just very scared of ghosts, even though I know most of them are friendly. Like, I don't want to see one, you know, like, I know they're there. I'm fine with them being there. I don't need to see one. So I was terrified, but it was honestly just so nice to be somewhere different, spend quality time with Jay, something that we don't get to do very often, but it's just so nice when it happens. But let me know over on the podcast Instagram at thegoodvibesclub.podcast what your good vibe of the week is. I really love hearing what you guys have to say, because I did start doing this on my normal Instagram account, which is at jessmsheppard, if you didn't know. But I started doing every Friday a little thing where I tell you my good vibes and I ask you yours. And I just find it so interesting because everyone has different parts of their week that were their favourite. And it's just so nice hearing all the different things, like whether it's that you got a new job or whether you just really enjoyed a sunset or you had a really good cup of coffee or, you know, some customer at work was really nice to you and it just made your day. Like, I just really like hearing them. But maybe I'll start reading some out on the episode if that's what you'd want. But let me know. And anyway, we're going to jump into the podcast. Personal style is something we all have, whether we realise it or not, and it's the choices you make when you shop, down to the way that you put together an outfit. So some people like to browse Pinterest for inspiration or prep the outfits the night before and just make sure it's like the perfect outfit. But others like to roll out of bed and throw on whatever makes them feel good that day. And I'm definitely a good mix of the two. Sometimes I will browse Pinterest for hours. Sometimes I will literally roll out of bed and throw on the first thing I see. Not gonna lie, I am partial to wearing the same sweatshirt for like 3 days in a row. No shame over here. It's, you know, if it doesn't need a wash, doesn't need to go in the wash. But everything you do is a choice. So you're choosing to put those pieces together. You're choosing to create that look, whether it took you 5 minutes or 5 hours. So take note next time you're in a coffee shop and just look at what everyone's wearing. So everyone has a style, everyone's a different. And for the most part, I honestly don't think you'd know if someone had really put thought into the outfit or whether they'd thrown it together in 5 minutes. Because I find sometimes the outfits of mine that look the least put together are sometimes the ones that were the most put together, and sometimes the opposite. Like the ones that look really nice took me 5 minutes. I would say my style has evolved a lot over time, same as yours probably has too, but I remember being in college and wearing those really god-awful printed leggings. I don't know if anyone remembers them, but like Primark used to do these really bright like floral print leggings, and there was this whole trend of like bleaching your black leggings, so you just literally flick bleach all over them. And that's what we wore all the time with like oversized t-shirts and cardigans, and like it was such a massive trend. I want to say it was in like 2010. Awful. I wore some very awful outfits back then, and I do cringe when I look back, but it was just what I really liked at the time. Like I remember having this outfit that I would wear all the time, and it was these grey knitted leggings. Oh, as I'm saying this is making me cringe. Grey knitted leggings with like, I want to say it was like Fair Isle print or like stars on them. And I would wear them with these pink knockoff Doc Martens that were like bright pink patent. I think I got them off eBay for like a tenner. And then I'd wear denim shorts, and then I'd wear like this blue like t-shirt with a pink cardigan over the top. I would never in a million years wear that as an outfit now. Like I honestly am so glad there is no photographic evidence. There probably is if you found like that, what was it called? Was it lookbook.nu or something? That website that everyone used to put their outfit pictures on back in the day. But there's probably evidence somewhere, and honestly, they were awful. They were so bad, but you would never believe me if I said I actually used to wear colour a lot. I know, like, honestly, I don't know who I used to be. Like, I'm a completely different person, but I'd definitely say now, as I've grown into adulthood, my style is the complete polar opposite of what it was then. Thank God. But I'm much more timeless, considered, minimal. Everything I wear is very simple. So there isn't much colour. Everything's a classic, and things I could wear in 5 years' time that won't be out of style, so to speak. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest trend follower anyway, but you know what I mean. It's basically the stuff that is timeless, and no matter when I wear it, whether it's in 5 years or 10 years, it won't really look dated. So think about like your leather jacket kind of vibe, like that kind of thing that just never goes out of style. Sometimes it's not as popular, but it's just something that will never get old. Same as like blue straight leg jeans, because I mean 5 years ago we all loved a skinny, but I think now the straight leg jeans are having a moment. It's not saying they won't go back out of style, but I do think they're going to be something that's a pretty standard classic in our wardrobe for years to come. So if you are struggling to work out what you do like or what you feel your personal style is and you think you need a bit of an overhaul, I would maybe say start by browsing something like Instagram and Pinterest, because that for me was a really crucial part of discovering my personal style. So what I would do is any outfits that I really like the look of and I thought I could recreate with what I already owned, or like for the most part, I would save them into a folder, and then it's almost like a little catalogue of outfit ideas. And I found that a really good way to go through and almost just see everything that I liked, work out what pieces I already own, what I'd need to get. Like say if like 7 of them had a trench coat and I knew that like a trench coat seemed to be something I would consider to be a staple, I would really look into getting those things, and you could kind of use it as a base. So I don't know how to explain this in the West Bay, but like say for example, 5 of those, if you've got a folder of 10 outfits, 5 of those have blue jeans, 7 of them had trench coats or something. You kind of get the gist of what it is that you really like, and it also helps you build a base for things in your wardrobe that you have or could potentially buy. So it's kind of a learning curve, and I would say this is even something you could do for like home renovation. So I've done this in the past with designing rooms and stuff. Obviously I've always rented, so it's a little bit different. You can't just go ahead and paint walls and stuff, but I would save, say like a dressing room, I'd save loads of pictures on Pinterest, and I would work out what the overarching theme was and like the colours and whether I like light wood or dark wood, and just overall see what the theme was. And that's kind of how I think I worked with my wardrobe too. But also it's a trial and error. You might think you like something, try it on yourself and think absolutely not, but you might think the opposite. So it's definitely something that you take time to do, and my style is something I've been really focusing on, I'd say in the past couple of years, just really learning what I gravitate more to in the shops and just kind of noticing what I wear on an everyday basis. And I think that's how I really shaped my style. So I don't know about you, but what I wear on an everyday basis and what I used to pick up in shops are very different things. So I really noticed that I was loving certain styles in a shop, buying them, getting them home and never wearing them, and then taking it back like a week later. So it was very much like I'd go in and I'd look at things that were really, I wouldn't say not my style, but I would say they definitely weren't the kind of things that I wore on an everyday basis. And I adopted a rule for myself where I would really focus on what I did wear and like make notes on my phone of something I wanted. So say for example, I noticed that I was always really gravitating towards outfits where I thought, oh, a nice oversized white t-shirt would go really well with this, or maybe I should add like a blue denim shirt or something, and I just would go with that and take that to the shops with me or my online shopping if I needed to do some, just so I'm not like mindlessly buying things, which is quite a nice way to do it. So rather than buying something that isn't something I'll like, it's buying something that works with what I've already got. And I do have a bit of a rule with my wardrobe at the moment where I only buy things if I know that they can go in at least 6 outfits. So if you've seen my YouTube channel, which is also Jess Shepherd, I think it's Jess Shepherd or jessmsheppard, I'll leave it in the show notes, but I will do several 6 ways to style. So every week I put up a 6 ways to style of different items. So I'm going through my capsule at the moment and just going through like satin skirts or leather jackets or like blue jeans, black jeans, etc. and just sharing with you different ways that I style what's already in my wardrobe to hopefully give you some inspiration, but also to give me inspiration for mine, because sometimes I do these videos and I'll put together outfits and be like, how have I never thought of this before? Like, it's so weird and it makes no sense because it's my wardrobe. But sometimes I put these outfits together and I think, you're an idiot, how have you never done this before? Like I did one the other day for activewear on my Instagram. I'll leave it in the show notes, but it was basically 3 ways to wear like a black sports bra and black leggings as an everyday outfit. And one of them I put together and I was like, why have I never done this before? Like, why have I never worn this? And it was just the most bizarre thing. But anyway, it's definitely a long process, and I wouldn't say it's something that can be done overnight, but I would say there's small changes that I've made which have really helped me to streamline my wardrobe, focus on the quality and not necessarily the quantity, and just, you know, really focus down on what it is that I want and what I wear a lot. Now, I don't know about you, but my wardrobe was, I'm currently obsessed with vintage. My username is jessmsheppard if you want to check it out, but I've been putting a lot on there recently. But my wardrobe is definitely filled with clothes that I just don't wear as much as I should, whether that's because they don't fit me or they don't suit me or I just don't wear them as much. It's just, there's a lot in there that I just don't wear. So sometimes I struggle to wear things, like I might really like it, but then when it comes to wearing it, it just never seems to look right, or I don't feel confident. Or there's jeans that I've had in my wardrobe for, honestly, if I could show you the amount of jeans in my wardrobe a few weeks ago, there was some that were too big, too small, too long, too short, etc. And I'd keep them for the just in case moments, but like, what's the point? Like, those moments haven't come in months or years, so I didn't understand why I was holding on to them. But I think we all do it, especially as women. We hang on to things hoping that things will fit again if they're like a size or 2 different, and then they just don't. So I might as well just sell them or donate them, and then I can make space for some new jeans that make me feel really good and fit me a lot better. If you haven't already tried the Abercrombie Curve Love collection, I highly recommend. It's definitely more suited to plus 20-year-old body, because let's be honest, once the hormones kick in, we are just not the same shape anymore, girls. Like, there is just a difference that happens. And even if you are like me and you have the slightest curve but you still find normal jeans annoying, because I end up with a gaping bit at the back and it's so frustrating, the Abercrombie Curve Love collection is just a dream. Like, it's honestly the best fitting denim I've ever had in my life, and I love it. Although I am partial to a weekday row and a Levi 501. If you've watched my channel before, my YouTube channel before, you will know this. I talk about them all the time. But anyway, clothes should give you confidence. You should open that wardrobe and know that everything in there is going to make you feel amazing, right? Like, granted, there's the odd day, I think we all get it, where you feel a bit bloated, a bit gross, your period's coming, so you steer clear of certain things. But for the most part, I have found since clearing out my wardrobe a little bit that I open it now and I look at it and I think, most of this fits me and it all works in my favour. So I don't need to worry about all of those things in there that don't fit right or I don't like the look of on me. Like, I open it and I know that absolutely everything in there is something that I will wear, that I love, and that I just know is going to make me feel really good about myself. So for streamlining your wardrobe, I would say there is some significant hacks that I have found work quite well. And the biggest one I will say, which I know it's a long process, it takes a while, but trust me, because it's fail safe, try everything on. It takes a long time, but it works. And I actually thought of this because I saw a TikTok, I think it must have been like early 2022 maybe, and it was an Australian girl who was trying loads of stuff on post-lockdown, and she was basically seeing what fit, and she made it into like quite a comedy thing, which I quite liked. So she was literally just trying on, in one she'd try on like all of her skirts, and then in the other one it'd be like all of her jeans or whatever, and it was so funny and like really quick. I mean, it must have taken her hours, but like the clips were obviously like 3 minutes long, but she'd basically go through and just try on everything and be like, really like this fits so badly, why have I got this? And it was just a really interesting watch, and it inspired me to do the same thing myself. So what I did was I tried on everything in my wardrobe, and it just kind of helped me to weed out anything that I thought I like the look of but hate when I put it on, or anything that I'd kind of avoided in a while. So you probably know exactly what I'm talking about here, but we've all got those things in our wardrobes where we know they used to fit, we're a bit worried that we put on a bit of weight or like lost a bit of weight or whatever, and we avoid putting it on for the longest time because we're so terrified that it's not going to fit anymore. And I just tried it all on. Like, I just accepted the fact that a lot of it wasn't going to fit, and I just tried it on, especially with like gym clothes and stuff, which I did find quite hard actually, because gym clothes, I think, are sometimes they make you look amazing and sometimes they just suck you in and cut you in all the wrong places. But it's a really good way to just go through and just make everything just easier. Is the easiest way to explain it. Like, I had so many dresses in that wardrobe which I hated as soon as I put them on, but I always look at them in the wardrobe and think, oh, you're really nice, like I need to wear you, you're a really good dress, like why have I not picked you out? And then I'd put it on and be like, that's exactly why I've not worn it, because I just don't like it on. So that is the best way to do it. It can take up space looking nice, but if you're not wearing it, then it might as well go, and you might as well replace it with something else. And it's also a very good excuse to get your friends over, which is what I did, give them some wine and just tell them to be honest, because I promise you, your friends will always be honest. I do find it a bit of a double-edged sword though, because sometimes I've got friends over and they'll be a bit of a hindrance in that they'll be like, oh, but it's really nice, and like even if you try it on and you don't like how it looks, they'll be like, oh, but it's so cute. So you have to know that they're going to be the right friends to have. Like, I know there's two of my friends which I could absolutely trust to be ruthless, but then I know I've got a couple of other friends where they'd probably convince me to keep things even if I'd never wear them. But they do know if that top is not your style, and they will just help you to weed out anything that just doesn't suit you or doesn't fit, or that you would just never wear, because your friends know your style as well as you do. And I think that's a really vital part of getting them to just chip in and help. And it's an excuse for a girls' night, and it's an excuse to have that Sex and the City moment where Carrie Bradshaw is like parading in and out of her dressing room, and her friends are sat there with the pieces of paper saying like, was it like toss and keep or something, and they're all just sat with wine being like, absolutely not, or like, yes, 100%. I love Sex and the City so much. But alternatively, what you could do if you don't want to try on absolutely everything is just make a pile of stuff to try on as you go through. So if you're going through the rails in your wardrobe, basically just pull off. I mean, I personally take out everything and then I start from like having it all on the floor and put things back in. But you could just go through and pick out anything that you're like, does this fit? Do I like this? Is this right? So like only keep the wardrobe full of things that you actually really love. Anything that's a maybe, put to one side, and anything that's a definite no, obviously just get rid of. And then it means you can just try on the stuff that's a maybe. Or I'm pretty sure there's a trick where you like put your hangers backwards. Is that a thing? I feel like that's a thing where you like put your hangers backwards and then you check it in 6 months and get rid of anything on a backwards hanger, something like that. I would personally not try it because it would drive me insane the hangers are backwards, but I have seen on social media that it's a really good hack, so it could be quite a good one to try. But after you've done a good try on sesh, I would say to donate or sell the clothes. Personally, if I'm getting rid of stuff, I try and do a 50-50 split. So what I do is I donate half and I sell half. So I'll donate as much as I can, but I also like to sell things because as much as it's great that it's all going to new homes regardless of like the cost or anything, I also like to make back some of the money that I spent on the clothes. And if it's not going to new clothes that do fit or match my style, it can go into my savings. So I just think it's a good thing to remember that, like, yes, it's great to donate everything, and I do think that you should do that to some respect. I absolutely believe in giving to charity and like donating clothes to charity shops, but I do think that it's important sometimes to make back a bit of that cost because you've spent a fortune building that wardrobe, so you need to make a bit of the money back, especially if you are aiming to replace things. But like I said, I do like a 50-50 split. You can do whatever works for you, but Vinted is a really good way to sell things. Highly recommend it over Depop. I found Depop so much drama and so annoying, but Vinted is free, it's more controlled, and they sort the postage and stuff for you. So when someone buys something, they basically do it all through the app. So you don't have to worry about like putting a postage cost or anything. Like they do it all themselves. You just print a label, take it to the thing and post it. Like it's so much easier, and people also can get away with a lot less on there. Like I found on Depop, people would always say things hadn't turned up, even if you'd got the proof of tracking, and Depop would refund them. Whereas because in Vinted, it's all through the app, people can't get away with that, which is pretty great in my opinion, because honestly it was so annoying using Depop, and I am just an absolute Vinted fan. I do buy quite a bit on there, so if you'd like a future episode on tips for buying secondhand, I'm more than happy to do one. I feel like I'm very good at finding a good vintage bargain. I actually have got quite a lot from there. I bought like a few Free People bits. I've got some Lululemon from there. I got some Rat and Boa bits from there. I think I got Lululemon stuff for like, I got a pair of leggings for like 20 quid that were like brand new camo ones. They're really nice. But anyway, that's my little Vinted plug. Vinted, if you want to sponsor the podcast, feel free. I am your biggest fan. But the next thing I'd say to do after you've weeded everything out, tried everything on, is to make notes about what you wear all the time. So if you are someone who is wanting to build more of a capsule, especially, I would say just note down the things you wear all the time, because everyone's capsule wardrobe is different, but what you wear on an everyday basis is your capsule. So for me, things like straight leg jeans, a pair of black leggings, my leather jacket, we all know I love my leather jacket, or like these Abercrombie t-shirt bodysuits I wear a lot, and it's normally a couple of colours of each thing, or like black, white and grey, and like a neutral. But I just find that going through and making note of what I wear a lot, or like just looking at my wardrobe and thinking, right, if I was to go out right now, what would I normally pick up? So like, I know I always pick up my blue jeans, and I know I always pick up my leather blazer or my leather jacket or my tailored black coat. Like I know the things that I get out all the time, and realizing that really helps you to know what you consider as your capsule. So what you think you might consider as a capsule might actually not be your capsule. Does that make sense? Like what you consider to be your core clothing could just be what you think. It might not be your actual most worn stuff, because your most worn stuff is your capsule. So not everyone's looks the same, and that's kind of the beauty of it. So if I looked at all of my friends, I would know that some of them love a printed maxi skirt or have an abundance of cute tops to wear with jeans for endless nights out, while my other friends might love sweatshirts and leggings, or they might really like blazers. And all of their core collection and what they wear on an everyday rotation is so vastly different to me and the other girls, which is the beauty of a core collection, because everyone's is totally different. And I think that's one thing that gets lost in translation a lot with capsule wardrobes, is not everyone's capsule is the same. So if you go on Pinterest, I find a lot of the time, if you type in capsule wardrobe, it will give you the same base. And I've done it so many times where I've looked and thought, I wouldn't wear any of that. Like, why would that be a capsule wardrobe for me? I would never wear any of this. And that's because that is for that specific person. That is what they consider their capsule. So really focus on what it is that you would want. Like I would never have a printed midi skirt, for example, but I know one of my best friends lives in hers. Like she wears it all the time. So the best way to think of it is that your capsule is essentially the base of your wardrobe, the pieces you use for every outfit. And I'll repeat again, so mine for reference are things like a black blazer, my leather jacket, my light wash jeans, my black jeans, a white and a black t-shirt, a white shirt, etc. But they are, to be honest, I think what 99% of people would consider as a capsule, but that's just what works for me. As a good way to think about it, just focus on the things that you pull out the most often. So yours could be a satin midi skirt, or you might always gravitate to the same cardigan or jumper, making those your staples. But that's kind of a well-rounded look at how to create a capsule wardrobe. And I do think that as I create mine, because I'm still creating mine, I'm still streamlining my wardrobe and I'm still learning, like it's not something that happens quickly and it does evolve over time. Like it's not that you do this once and then it's just always your capsule wardrobe. Like there will be inevitably things that come and go. A really good person actually to look at on YouTube for capsule wardrobing is the Anna Edit. She used to do, I don't know if she still does them, but she used to do these like wardrobe videos where she'd do like her autumn essentials, or like 10 by 10 where she'd do 10 outfits. No, sorry. She'd do 10 pieces for a trip and then make 10 outfits. So I think she did like an Amsterdam one and stuff. But hers had like a lot of leopard print in it, whereas like yours might not, etc. And I just found her videos really good at helping to create those capsules, and like she just gives really, really good tips. So I highly recommend, because she just has an amazing wardrobe, and she has one of those wardrobes where you're like, oh, everything is so beautiful. Like she has loads of like whistles, jumpers, and like Reese, and like the Frankie shop and all that kind of like the dreamy, like not quite designer but not quite high street wardrobe that we all just long to have, like Ganni things, like a Ganni dress and stuff. Oh, I love her wardrobe. I fangirl. There we go, I've said it, I'm a fangirl sometimes. But capsule wardrobes really are something that grow over time, and streamlining your wardrobe really helps. If not to help you with getting dressed, it just helps to clear your mind. Like opening your wardrobe and not having everything crammed in and not having everything fall on you, it's honestly just amazing. Like I cleared mine out the other week. I actually did film it for a YouTube video and like reels and stuff, but I could not. I have 4 wardrobes. I'm totally lying, there's 4. But I have 4 wardrobes, and it got to the point where I couldn't put anything in or get anything out without like literally having to shove my arm in and like force it. So I decided to do a clear out, and I've now got to the point where each of my wardrobes, I could push all the clothes to one side and have like near enough half free, which I think is perfect. So I could realistically minimize them into one less, but what I've got is like a system that works really well. So like my sweatpants and stuff are together, and like my jumpers, and then I've got one that's got my shirts into like play suits, into like dresses and stuff, and everything is just very organized. So when I come to putting things away, because putting washing away is the bane of my life, I literally hate putting washing away. Like it sits in piles all over my flat for days because I hate doing it so much, but it makes it so much easier. But I still don't do it. Okay, so the good vibe of the week. I think we already know what's coming, but I want you to go through your wardrobe and pick out 5 to 10 items that you no longer wear or that no longer bring you joy, and rehome them. Whether that is on Vinted, whether it's on Depop, whether you're donating it or giving it to a friend, take out 5 to 10 things in that wardrobe of yours. I can guarantee you can do 5 to 10 things. I don't even need to see your wardrobe. I know you can do it because I've seen my friends and I know that every single one of them could weed out at least 5 to 10 things right now. So 5 to 10 things, and give them a new home. And then if you need to, you can replace them with better things, whether you buy secondhand or not. Or like have a really good think this week about what you consider to be your core things. Like everyone's are different, but I would actually love to know what you think your core pieces are. If you want to let me know and have a chat, obviously head over to the podcast Instagram, which is at thegoodvibesclub.podcast. It's the easiest way to get hold of me. I am notoriously bad at replying to DMs. However, the Good Vibes Club podcast Instagram does not have that many DMs yet, so it's a lot easier for me to go through, and it's just a really simple way for me to get all of the information purely for this, rather than just like general DMs for links and stuff as well. So if you want to get hold of me or have a chat about anything, let me know. If you've got any questions and stuff, I would also absolutely love if you could rate and review this podcast. It's been a few episodes now, so I'm really hoping that you have some kind of vibe as to whether you like it, whether you love it, etc. So your ratings would mean the absolute world to me. I'm not sure how exactly you do them, but I know on Spotify you can literally just press the star and it asks you for your rating number. But I would love to read what you think and what your thoughts are on this podcast, and any ratings and reviews really help because it helps to push my podcast into the ears of more people who might enjoy it. So that's it for today's podcast, guys. I really hope you enjoyed having a little good vibe in the form of decluttering, wardrobe streamlining, things that bring you joy, and finding your personal style. If you want me to do more episodes on this, I'm more than happy because I'm sure there's 1,000,001 more things that we could cover. But for now, I'm going to bid you farewell, and I'll see you next week's podcast. Bye, guys.